Helicopters. Aren't they awesome? Purpose of this video is just to go over some of the most popular helicopters out there, look at the evolution and history of helicopters, and just talk all about helicopters because they're so awesome. A helicopter is defined as an aircraft that derives its lift from blades that rotate about an approximately vertical central axis. What is the evolution of this awesome flying technology? Why are helicopters so widely used today? Why was the Vietnam War called the Helicopter War? If we're going to talk about helicopters, we got to talk about Leonardo da Vinci. In 15th century, in Italy, he produced a sketch of what he called the helical air screw that could be powered up by a wound-up spring. This device was never built, but it's one of the earliest drawings of a helicopter machine. And even though da Vinci is generally credited with inventing the helicopter, the first practical design wasn't developed until the 1930s. Like a lot of new technologies in history, military plays a role, and helicopters are no exception. Before World War II in Germany, there was a synchrocopter, and this made it into serial production. But because of all the Allied airstrikes on production facilities, there was no large-scale production of any kind of helicopter in Germany during World War II. And so, as history unfolded, it was the model of Igor Sikorsky, who came to the United States from Russia, that became the first mass-produced helicopter in the world. And it was what's called the R4, which had a simple single rotator design and was produced 131 times. And this helicopter pretty much jump-started the whole helicopter market, and it proves the utility of helicopters for rescue and reconnaissance through service in World War II. And the nation behind this helicopter was Great Britain. It was the first nation to use helicopters during wartime, when the R4 rescued a pilot and 3 injured passengers from a plane crash in the mountains of northern Burma in April of 1944. Around this time was the Bell Model 30, which was the first helicopter built by the Bell Aircraft Company in 1943. And it was designed by a man named Arthur M. Young, and the type served as a demonstration testbed for the future successful Model 47. And this Bell 47 became the first helicopter certified for civilian use on March 8, 1946. And over in the Soviet Union in 1948, the Mil Mi-1, which was a 3 or 4 seat light utility helicopter, was first flown, and it was the first Soviet helicopter to enter serial production. And next we're going to look at the 1950s. When the Korean War happened, it basically proved even more so than World War II the general effectiveness of using helicopters in a combat theater. The Bell 47 that I mentioned before was purchased by the U.S. Army and designated the OH-13, and it was used for observation, artillery aiming, and medical evacuation. And this is when the helicopter technology really started to advance, when the turbine engine is first used in a helicopter designed by Charles Kaman in Connecticut. The power-to-weight ratio of a turbine was 4 times that of a piston engine, and it revolutionized the helicopter design and performance at the time. And in 1954, the Sikorsky H-34 is introduced that had a variety of uses, from utility transport, anti-submarine warfare, search and rescue, and VIP transport. In 1962, the Sikorsky CH-54 was a twin-engine, heavy-lifting helicopter that was designed by Sikorsky Aircraft for the United States Army, and it was named after an 18th century chief of the Wyandot Indian tribe. And of course, in the mid-1960s, when the Vietnam War took place, helicopters were used in a whole bunch of different missions, from troop transport to gunships, search and rescue, medical evacuation, resupply, to command and control. So if there was any doubt at this point that helicopters are a useful tool in war, Vietnam put it to rest. This is where we see the classic Huey helicopter, which is officially known as the Bell UH-1 Iroquois. And this was a military helicopter that was powered by a single turboshaft engine with main and tail rotors that were 2-bladed. It was ordered into production in March of 1960, and it was the first turbine-powered helicopter to enter production for the U.S. military. And since then, over 16,000 have been built. And it was actually originally designated as the HU-1, not UH-1, and this led to the nickname of Huey. Another helicopter